Welcome to Build with Rob. It is your boy Rob Dyrdek. You know what it is. You absolutely and completely have the ability to predict the future. You know, we're just trying to find joy in every single moment of our lives. We want to live a big life, and we want to find our success in our own version, in our own way. And in order to do that, you've got to design it, create it, get good at it, expand into it, evolve into the ideal version of yourself, living the ideal life. I have you absolutely and completely have the ability to predict the future and see what is going to happen to a certain level of probability in my own reality. And that's really what it's all about. Like when you're trying to create anything, create a life, create a business, like you're really trying to apply all of these things that are happening to you, that you're learning from, into new and improved plans to create more probability that you'll have the outcome that you want in the future. You know, and when it comes to, you know, creating and designing a life, and that's really what it's about. You know what I mean? Like, you really want to begin to get really good at understanding, like, how to get better and better, and not only predicting what the future might be, you know, and predicting what things you want to happen, but also creating systems that ensure the things that you don't control and that you have no control over will not affect you either, right? It's kind of like on the two sides of future probability. It's all the things that you can control, all the things that you cannot control. And you want to build a system that not only consistently guides you to the probable future that you would want to live, but also creating systems to protect you from things that could disrupt that probable future and or your life that you don't have control of. That's really one of the most important things and one of the greatest benefits of life design, and really mastering time and energy. I'm here to tell you that life truly begins when you decide that mastery of your existence is your number one goal. Like when you finally decide that my journey on this planet is to ultimately master my own reality, my own being, my own wants, my own needs, my own actions, every single thing about yourself. That's truly when your life will begin. You have to look at it like, how can I begin to look at creating and controlling my reality and mastering myself and my energy and my time? You know, and I talk about all those things on an ongoing basis all the time in a bunch of different ways. You know, and this way of experiencing life and growing into it at this extraordinary level, it is when you commit to just personal mastery at a much earlier age, because it does take a 10 to 15 year process. And I really look at myself as, you know, in that sort of 10-year run, man, because I'm telling you, the moment you choose that my number one goal is going to be mastering me, understanding all of the things that I like about myself, all the things that I need to learn about myself, but ultimately all the things that I would like to become and all the things I have to stop doing, and then beginning that process. Boy, there's nothing but energy. The moment you think about that.
And as you begin to make progress, sure, there's going to be waves, but at some point you're going to cross into what it feels like to fully master yourself. And that is where happiness and heaven on earth exist. And that's what I want everybody to chase, man. That is that harmonious, high quality existence.
All right, look. I'm here to tell you that life truly begins when you decide that mastery of your existence is your number one goal. Make it simple. Make it measurable. And if you make something simple and measurable in a handful of areas in your life, you're going to be happier. Because the moment you have something to measure, you're then going to understand the strategy that you need to achieve that measurable outcome. And then as you make the progression towards that measurable outcome,
that joy comes flowing through. A little thing called quantified joy. When you made that hot run in the spring because you were going to get that summer body cooking, and you were like, oh, I got to get down to 140, you know, and you're sitting up there at a winter portly 165. Remember that? And you locked in.
And you decided that summer body from Lake Havasu this year was going to be 130, and that you had to get to work. And where's it start? Started with that number 130.
Where did you start? You started at a portly 165. And what did you do? It informed the strategy. I gotta start doing cardio 3 days a week. I gotta stop eating pizza and donuts and drinking 5 beers a night. And I've got to stay committed and consistent. And then what am I gonna do? I'm gonna weigh in each week to give me the number.
And what happens, man? The first week is hard.
Oh, I just want some french fries. Oh, man. Oh, everybody's going out tonight. Oh, I don't need to go out tonight. Oh, you're shaking because you just can't even deal with life because your entire system is basically built to keep you fat. Your entire system has built you to stay in that round winter body of yours, but you're going to fight through it. You're going to fight through it because in week 1, you went from 165 to 159 because you basically didn't eat anything because you tried to overshoot the mark in the beginning. But it worked. It worked because you had that measurable number to connect to. And then when you made progress and weigh in and see that number come down, guess what happens? You now generated joy and motivation. Because that's what picking a number to actually measure a better version of your life, when you do that, it creates joy. Don't look at like something as simple as what
You weigh and setting a goal for,
losing weight as something just so arbitrary as like, oh, I'll feel better. It's going to bring you joy. When you can put a number to something
that then informs a strategy
that you know that you can implement that can help you achieve a number, then you begin to make the progress towards actually achieving that number. You are going to feel incredible joy.
Welcome to Build with Rob. It is your boy Rob Dyrdek. All the way live up here in beautiful Beverly Hills, coming to you from the Dyrdek machine. I saw this really interesting thing about how, like, if you're 25, you know what I mean? Like, 10 years earlier, you were just like, leaving junior high to get into high school. It's like, how could you possibly look 10 years into the future?
how difficult it is to see further the younger you are. And that's where a lot of the patience goes away of the goals that you have to achieve. You know, one of the big ones from my era was like, you got to be a millionaire by 30. You got to be a millionaire by 30. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, this like pressure to everybody that looked at themselves as being successful. If you didn't hit that mark, that you would basically be failing at life altogether. It's cool when you say that when you're 22. It's way more hardcore when you haven't done it and now you're 28 and you haven't even figured out a pathway to even do it and you can't even save money. The idea for you is when you're setting a goal, it doesn't matter what it is, you always have to, you know, start at the end and decide what the outcome of that goal is, and then you lay out sort of the pathway and the milestones to get there, and then you begin on the journey. As it reveals itself to you, you start again. You start at the end again. You start at the end again, and again, and again, until you don't have to start at the end again. You know, that is the process in the beginning of setting a goal and allowing it to reveal itself to you. And the time that it takes to hit these milestones and to see the plan evolve and get it to the place that you're expecting it to get to, that timeline, man, you can take the best guess that you can at it, but you've got to give yourself the ability and the you know, relief to yourself to know that that's going to be shifting. Because what happens is, you know, as you like are, you know, growing towards a goal, like you'll learn so much about what you're actually doing that begins to even shift what you want out of the end in the first place.
We're all just trying to get better. Every single day. You know, I'm in this sort of perpetual state of always thinking about, you know, what's working in my life, what's not working in my life, why are certain things the way that they are, and how can I change them, how can I make them better, like...
You know, always almost looking for more clarity inside the clarity that I have already, you know, and part of that is this sort of recent discovery for me where I realized recently that every single thing matters. And when you hear that, you're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, of course it does. Of course it does. Everything does matter. But I'm saying every single thing matters.
Every single thing, where you live, what you think about, what you do, what you say. Think of all of that, right? As you begin to hear all of that together, it's all of these different things, right? But every single one of them is compounding in a positive or negative way.
When you begin to gain that awareness and look at life through the lens of like, man, every single decision, every single thought, every single interaction, every word I choose to say, all of these things, when you start looking at the power of what they do when they compound together, it really begins to make you take sort of a pause and think
when you're deciding what you're going to do. And it really is an amazing
sense of self-awareness to think like that can help lead you towards better habits and better decisions and all of these things that could
compound you in a positive direction instead of a negative direction. You know, when they say, oh, it rains, it pours, you know, bad things come in threes, you know, and it really is, because you get into sort of this state of, you know,
you stay out later one night, have a few too many drinks on a night where you have sort of a bigger meeting in the morning, and then you're feeling less clear, you're a little more agitated. now there's a ripple effect on what that means, and now you're second guessing, you're stressing about the meeting. It's like all of that is compounded against staying out late and having a few too many drinks, which was just a single decision completely unrelated from your business meeting the next morning, where you made a hasty decision, which then created a ripple effect that was going to take so much work for you now to reverse. And now it's adding stress to your life, and now it's compounding into that stress is now when you go home and you're distant or short with your wife, you know what I mean? You're not there for you. It's like, think of just that ripple effect and what it was of just having one too many drinks on a night when you know you have a big meeting. Now, when you see that all connected, it is just an example of how making that decision, because there's first order, second order, third order consequences to everything that you choose to do, that when you begin to look at all of these decisions that you decide to do in your life and how they're going to impact everything, with the idea that everything you do matters, it changes the way that you live your life. How do we create an extraordinary life? That's what this show is all about. Life and business strategies. They're one of my passions. I live it and I love talking about it. As always, thank you for being a listener, being on this journey with me. Make sure you like and subscribe. It's Build with Rob. We're building together, and we are bound forever. Today we got a great show. So you're going to want to stick around and really understand how much love I have. Sometimes I am moved to help and be a part of the movement. You've got to work hard to be successful. It just is what it is. Hard work is the cornerstone of achieving anything in life. But they will always say, work smarter, not harder. And that is at the core of everything that I do. But at the end of the day, I want you to work smarter, not harder, in a harmonious way. And when you create harmony in all aspects of your life, it allows you to be able to get more out of the effort that you put in, and allows you to accelerate and build success at a much more rapid rate. And I just think people underestimate that. And when it comes to creating harmony inside your life, it really is looking at all aspects of your life and how it integrates together, and how you can, drive a lot of the things that disrupt, harmony in your existence to automation and optimization. That's why I preach it over and over. When there's friction in your existence and how things just aren't running smooth, and your life itself is out of order. And a lot of times it can be pointed to a handful of different things. You're not giving yourself enough time to recover and relax and sort of reevaluate where you're at and how you can be better and more efficient. You take on too much. You do all these different things that can disrupt your harmony and add friction. And for me, I think you just have to always be using your gut feeling. And this goes back to the magic side. Like always be like self-evaluating and continually evaluating your choices, decisions, plans, ideas, and searching for where is the friction in your life. Because you want to get into a place where that harmony is just continuing to be sort of the driving force. At the cornerstone of your existence, or at the core of your existence, is and ultimately your success will be creating sustained energy in everything that you're doing. You know what I mean? And harmony is really one of the only ways to create sustained energy. The more you can plan, the more clarity you can have, and the intention you can set, both in business the guidelines, if you will, to know where you should like pivot or not pivot along the journey in this process. So, you know, I love the idea of putting in more effort to get clear on how the business is sustainable so that you can figure out, hey, we got to hit this number every time we take the truck out. What do we got to keep adjusting to make this number?
Oh.
Demons, be gone!
Be gone, demons.
Be gone!
Leave this studio!